You think you are running out of time? You are not. You are throwing it away. Every hour you scroll past your dreams. Every morning you sleep past your potential. Every week you wait for the right moment that never comes. That is not life happening to you. That is you handing your life over to the minutes and letting them steal it. Before I go any further, if even one line of what I am about to say lands in your chest tonight, subscribe to this channel, not because I need you to, but because somewhere in your bones, you already know you are not supposed to keep living like this. You clicked this video for a reason. Honor that reason. Stay with me. Listen to me carefully. Time is the one thing you can never get back. Not money, not opportunity, not even love. Those can return sometimes. But the hour that passed while you were watching nonsense on your phone at 2 in the morning, that hour is gone forever. Think about that. You will never meet that hour again. You will never get the chance to use it again. It is finished, and it did not even ask your permission before it left. Time is the one thing you can never get back. That is the line. Hold it, because we are going to come back to it again and again tonight until it burns into your memory. Most people do not understand what they are doing when they waste time. They think wasting time means sitting on the couch doing nothing. That is not what it means. Wasting time is anything that pulls you away from the person you said you were going to become. Wasting time is the conversation you keep having with people who drain your energy. Wasting time is the relationship you keep tolerating because you are afraid to be alone. Wasting time is the job you keep showing up to while your real calling collects dust in the corner of your mind. Wasting time is anything that uses up your hours and gives you nothing back. Time is the one thing you can never get back. Every wasted minute is a minute you traded your future for a cheap escape from your present. You know what is interesting about the top 1%? They do not have more time than you do. They have the exact same 24 hours, the same 7 days, the same 52 weeks, the same number of mornings. The difference is not how much time they have. The difference is what they refuse to let their time become. They refuse to let it become noise. They refuse to let it become gossip. They refuse to let it become complaint. They refuse to let it become another version of who they were yesterday. They protect their hours like a mother protects her child, with every ounce of awareness they have. Time is the one thing you can never get back, and the top 1% understand that better than anyone alive. So what does this actually look like in real life? It looks like the man who wakes up an hour before everyone else and reads while the world sleeps. It looks like the woman who says no to the third night out this week because she is building something that the party cannot give her. It looks like the kid in his bedroom teaching himself a skill at midnight because he's hungry for a future his parents never had. It looks like every single choice where you have to choose between feeling comfortable now and becoming somebody later. That is what it looks like. Not glamorous, not loud, not impressive at first glance. Just one quiet decision after another, repeated so often that it becomes a life. The 1% who never waste time are not superheroes. They are just people who decided to stop giving their hours away for free. Let me tell you something else. Wasting time is not a neutral act. It is an active one. You are not standing still when you waste time. You are moving backwards. The world is changing while you scroll. Other people are learning while you sleep. Other dreams are being built while you tell yourself you will start tomorrow. While you wait, life speeds up. While you hesitate, opportunity matures and walks away. While you delay, somebody else is making the very decision you were too afraid to make. You are not maintaining your position. You are losing it, slowly. So slowly, you do not even feel it happening, until one day you wake up and look around and realize everybody you used to be ahead of is now ahead of you. Think about that. Let that settle in. No one is coming to fix this for you. No parent, no boss, no stranger, no algorithm, no rescue, no lucky break. The person capable of changing your life is already in the mirror, and that person is waiting for you to stop lying to them, to stop promising them tomorrow, to stop giving them excuses dressed up as reasons. That mirror version of you, the one who has been watching you settle for years, is begging you to start. Time is the one thing you can never get back, and every minute you give to a lie is a minute you steal from that person in the mirror. So I want to ask you something honest, not what the next person is doing with their time, not what your coworker is doing, not what some stranger on the internet is doing. What are you doing with yours? Right now, in this season of your life, what are you letting your hours become? Are they becoming a future, or are they becoming regret? Are they becoming discipline, or are they becoming distraction? Are they becoming the life you keep telling your friends you want, or are they becoming another year you will pretend did not happen? Look at how you spent the last week. That is your real answer, not the one in your head, the one in your calendar, the one in your phone screen time, the one in the choices you made when nobody was watching. That is the truth about you. And time is the one thing you can never get back. So the question is no longer whether you have enough of it. The question is whether you are willing to defend what is left. Now let me tell you about the second thing the 1% do differently. They do not wait for motivation. They build a structure that does not need it. See, motivation is a beautiful liar. It shows up on a Sunday night. It whispers big promises in your ear. It feels like fire in your chest. And then the alarm goes off on Monday morning and the fire's gone. The room is cold. The bed is warm. Willpower is small. The blanket is heavy. And the dream you felt so clearly the night before, it is almost dead by sunrise. Most people live and die based on whether they feel motivated. The 1% do not live like that. They decided long ago that feelings are not in charge of their life. They built a system that runs even when they feel like quitting. They wrote the plan on Sunday so Monday does not have to ask them what to do. They removed the decision so the only thing left is the action. Time is the one thing you can never get back. And every morning you spend waiting to feel like doing the thing is another morning the thing does not get done. Think of it like brushing your teeth. Do you wake up every morning and ask yourself, do I feel motivated to brush my teeth? No, you just do it. It is built into your day. It is smaller than your excuses. The discipline of the 1% feels like that. Not giant heroic willpower, just small boring actions done so often they become automatic. Reading 10 pages, walking for 20 minutes, writing for 30, sending one message that scares you, practicing one skill for 1 hour before you open social media. Tiny bricks, laid one after the other, until one day you look back and realize you built a wall nobody can break for you. Time is the one thing you can never get back, and nobody ever built a wall by waiting to feel like it. Here's what happens when you build structure instead of chasing motivation. You stop negotiating with yourself in the morning. You stop giving yourself permission to skip. You stop asking yourself, do I really have to do this today? Because the answer is already written. The answer is yes. Every day, even when it is hard, even when you do not feel it, even when every part of you wants to quit. The structure does not care how you feel. It only cares that you show up. And that is the secret. Showing up when you do not feel like it is the entire game. That is the difference between the people who build a life and the people who watch others build theirs. Let me paint this for you so it sticks. Imagine your future self sitting in a quiet room 5 years from now. The room is calm. The mail just came. There is a number on the page that represents what you have built. And that future self looks back at you through time and asks one question. Not why did you waste so much time? Bigger question. They ask, why did you keep saying you would start tomorrow? Why did you keep waiting for the perfect moment? Why did you keep scrolling past the work that would have changed everything? Why did you keep sleeping past the hours that would have built your future? That future self is not angry. They are just tired of waiting for you. Time is the one thing you can never get back. And your future self is sitting there right now, watching you, hoping that tonight is the night you finally stop lying. So what kind of structure are you actually building right now? Is your day designed around your dream? Or is your dream designed around the scraps of your day? Is your morning feeding the future? Or is it feeding the algorithm? Is the first hour of your day pulling you toward the person you said you want to become? Or is it pulling you toward the noise that keeps you exactly where you are? Be honest. Because structure is the only thing that survives bad days. Motivation dies on a bad day. Emotion dies on a bad day. Weather dies on a bad day. A system you wrote down on a calm day does not die. It just keeps running. Time is the one thing you can never get back. Build a system that does not need your permission to keep going. Now let me ask you something while it is still fresh in your chest. If you were to build your day tomorrow from scratch, knowing that time is the thing you can never get back, what would you protect first? Your sleep, your craft, your quiet hours, your family, your health? Which one would you stop giving away to distraction? Which one would you finally treat like it is sacred? Because the answer to that question is the answer to your whole life. The 1% are not smarter than you. They are just more ruthless about which hours they will not let anyone steal. And the moment you become that ruthless is the moment your life begins to change. Time is the one thing you can never get back. Protect it like it is the last breath in your lungs. The third shift the 1% make is in how they talk about someday. They kill the word in their mouth. They refuse to use it anymore. I am going to start someday. I will figure it out someday. Things will get better someday. Someday is the most dangerous word in your vocabulary because someday never arrives. It is a trick your lazy brain plays on your hopeful heart. Someday is not a date on a calendar. It is a wish disguised as a plan. And wishes do not build anything. Time is the one thing you can never get back. And someday has been stealing yours for years. Let me show you how someday works so you can recognize it. You say you are going to start your own thing someday, so you do nothing this week. You say you will get in shape someday, so you do not move your body today. You say you will leave that relationship someday, so you stay another month. You say you will write the book someday, so you keep scrolling. You say you will ask for the raise someday, so you keep being underpaid. Someday is the parking lot of your dreams. You keep pulling in, you never leave, and the meter just keeps running. Time is the one thing you can never get back. And someday is the meter man who never stops counting. Days become weeks, weeks become months, months become years, years become decades. And one day you look up and the person you could have become is now a stranger. You do not even recognize them. They live in a life that never happened. They made the choices you kept postponing. They had the conversations you kept delaying. They had the body you kept promising. They had the book you kept dreaming about. They are real. They are just not you. And that is the cost of someday. Not a dramatic fall, a quiet erosion. One decision to delay, another decision to delay, another decision to delay, until the silence is so loud you cannot ignore it anymore. The 1% replace someday with a specific date. They write it down, they commit to it, they tell someone else so they cannot lie about it later. That is it. That is the difference. Not genius, not luck, not talent, just the radical act of saying, I will do this on this day, and then honoring it like it is a promise to your own child. Because if you cannot keep a promise to yourself, you cannot keep a promise to anyone. Time is the one thing you can never get back, and a date on a calendar is the only thing that can save you from another decade of someday. I want you to ask yourself this one. What is the someday you have been hiding from yourself? The one real dream you keep saying you will get to eventually. The one conversation you keep saying you will have when the time is right. The one page you keep saying you will write when you feel ready. What is that someday? Write it down tonight. Put a date next to it. Not someday. A real date. A Tuesday in March, a Monday in June, a specific morning in a specific month. Because a dream with no date is just a daydream. And daydreams do not become lives. They become regrets. Time is the one thing you can never get back. Turn the someday into a date before this video ends. Before you forget. Before you scroll past this feeling. Now let me tell you about the fourth piece of this, the piece nobody wants to hear. The 1% are not positive all the time. Let me say that again. The 1% are not positive all the time. They have terrible mornings, they get rejected, they get sick, they lose money, they have weeks where everything they touch falls apart. They have moments where they sit in their car and wonder if they are insane for trying this hard. They are not immune to pain. They just refuse to let pain become their personality. Time is the one thing you can never get back. And if you give your pain the steering wheel, pain will drive you straight into the ditch. Suffering is not a personality trait. Getting knocked down is not a vibe. Having a hard childhood is not an excuse to give up on your future. Losing money is not a reason to stop building. Losing a relationship is not permission to self-destruct. Pain is just information. Pain tells you something needs to change. Pain is a signal. It is not a sentence. The 1% feel the pain, sit with it for a moment, and then they get up and build the next version of the dream anyway, not because they are cold, because they understand that giving up would cost them more years than the pain ever could. Here is the metaphor that I want you to carry with you. Think of your life like a magnifying glass under the sun. The sun is always shining. Light is always hitting your glass. The question is where you point it. When you point it at the wound burns. When you point it at the work ignites. Same light, same sun, same energy, different focus. The 1% did not invent a new sun. They just stopped burning themselves and started setting fires where it mattered. Time is the one thing you can never get back. Where you point your focus is where your life will burn. Choose the work, choose the dream, choose the future, leave the wound alone. You know what I have learned from watching people succeed and watching people fail? The successful ones are not stronger. They are not smarter. They are not luckier. They are just more stubborn about refusing to make their pain a home. Every time the world hits them, they bend. They do not break, they bend. They take the hit, they learn from it, they adjust, and they keep moving. While the people who fail stand up, point at the hit, and replay it over and over in their mind like it is a movie they cannot stop watching. That is the difference. Not talent, not luck, stubbornness in the right direction. Let me be very honest with you about something. I know there are nights when you do not want to try anymore. I know there are mornings when getting out of bed feels impossible. I know there are weeks when the only reason you keep going is the people who would be hurt if you stopped. And that is okay. That is not weakness. That is being human. But do not turn that into a permanent address. Use it as fuel. Use it as proof that you can survive harder things than you thought. You have already survived every single worst day of your life. Think about that. You are still here. Every hard night, every broken week, every public failure, you are still standing. That means you are tougher than you give yourself credit for. Time is the one thing you can never get back. Take that toughness and point it at the dream tonight. So before I move forward, before I tell you the last and most important truth of this whole video, I want you to ask yourself the question honestly. Which version of you showed up today? The one who uses pain as fuel, or the one who uses pain as an excuse? The one who bends and keeps moving, or the one who bends and gives up? The one who points the magnifying glass at the work, or the one who points it at the wound? Because that choice, made 10,000 times in small quiet moments, is the entire shape of your life. Time is the one thing you can never get back. Stop making your pain your personality. Start making your discipline your identity. And now let me bring this home. The last thing the 1% understand is the only thing that really matters. Becoming the 1% is not about money. It is not about fame. It is not about corner offices. It is about becoming a person you cannot lie to anymore. A person whose word means something to themselves first. A person who wakes up and does not negotiate with the small, lazy voice anymore. A person whose calendar reflects the dreams in their heart instead of the distractions in their phone. That is what the 1% really means. Not a number in your bank account. A version of you that you can finally respect in the mirror. The work to get there is not glamorous. It is not viral. It is not what people clap for. It is the boring Tuesday morning when nobody is watching and you still do the work. It is the unglamorous Thursday evening when you say no to the outing because you said you would practice. It is the lonely Sunday afternoon when you sit at the desk and write the page no one will ever read. It is the 1,000 tiny moments nobody applauds. The 1% is built in those moments. Not on stage, in private. when no one is cheering, when only the mirror is watching. Time is the one thing you can never get back. The mirror is going to be the first judge of whether you honored it. Let me describe the person you are about to become. Picture them standing 5 years from now in a quiet morning light. They wake up without an alarm because their body trusts their discipline. They walk into a room that they built with their own hands. They open a screen or a door or a book that they earned with their own hours. They are not famous, they are not loud, but they are free. They are not stressed by a tiny number in a bank account. They are not embarrassed by a small life. They are breathing a little easier because they kept the promises they made to themselves in the mirror years ago. That is who is waiting for you on the other side of all this discipline. Not a celebrity, a self-respecting human. That is enough. That is more than enough. The path to that person is one decision at a time, one morning at a time, one page at a time, one workout at a time, one honest conversation at a time, one uncomfortable choice at a time. There is no shortcut, there is no hack, there is no app that builds the dream for you. There is only the slow, stubborn choice to keep showing up for the person you keep promising yourself you will become. Time is the one thing you can never get back. If you spend it on the boring, small choices, one day you will wake up inside a life you cannot believe you built with your own hands. That is the deal. That is the only deal on the table. So let me ask you the final question I want you to carry out of this video tonight. If your future self could talk to you right now, the version of you standing in that quiet morning light with respect in their eyes, what would they say to the version of you sitting here scrolling tonight? Would they say, keep going? Would they say, I am proud of you for hearing this? Would they say tonight was the night the excuses finally stopped? Let their voice be louder than the noise. Let their patience be stronger than your doubt. Because they are real, they are waiting, and they were built by every choice you make from this moment forward. You came into this video thinking you were running out of time. You were not. You were throwing it away. Now you know the difference. Now you know that time is the one thing you can never get back. And the 1% who never waste time are not smarter than you, not luckier than you, not born into something you were not. They are just more honest about what their hours mean. They protect them. They honor them. They build with them. They refuse to let them become noise. And starting tonight, you can do the same thing. One choice, one morning, one small brick at a time. No excuses, no waiting, no quitting, just becoming unstoppable.